road must be 20-foot average, measured every 100 foot, and to the nearest road that measures 20 feet or more. This applies to all land in the county proper, including land inside the urban growth boundary. Additionally, it applies to any municipal land connecting to a county road. This is what was voted on last night by County Commission. But still yet, what we need to do is we need to look at our roads, our subdivision connections, and there's some items that I'm just going to mention to you, and I'll take feedback from you, and then we'll start to try to get something in place. So currently, I don't sent out a late email this morning. Don't know who got it, who read it. But basically, our current regulations are 5 or more lots have to connect to a county road, and that standard just says 18-foot asphalt width. So 5 or more lots, 18-foot asphalt width, up to however many lots you have in that subdivision. That is on, if everybody wants to go back and read their subregs, that's on page 11 of the subregs. So some of the things that has been discussed in this recommendation for our roads is you know, what they just passed, should you use average, should you change widths, should you change information based off average daily traffic count studies? You know, I've heard if it's greater than 1,500 cars per day, then we need acceleration, deceleration lanes, things of that nature. So this is some of the things we have to accomplish. They've talked about these totals being calculated over a 10-day period by TDOT standards and excluding holidays. So when you start looking and trying to consider this, I have looked at one other jurisdiction's regulations. So the first thing I think we should consider is right now the law as was passed last night says inside white line, inside white line. There's county roads out there that don't have white lines at this time. I don't deal with TDOT, so I don't know if there's a standard width and striping and whether those can change. The one thing you do notice when you drive down the road is some of these white lines are a little bit squirrely. So I would put out there, you know, do we do a white line to white line inside, or do we do a road width period? I think about 6 inches is the width of a stripe. So do you cut this, say, hey, white line to white line inside measurement, or do you just do an asphalt width period? Do an asphalt width. Do we need to consider shoulders for roads? There's a lot of roads in the county currently that don't have shoulders, obviously, and when you start increasing road width, if you add shoulder width to that, then you're moving your drainage structures, you know, and having to take into consideration. The other thing is, how do you measure the road? Of course, in this one here, they said every 100 feet. In another document I was looking at, it was at 10th mile increments, so that's, you know, a little over 500 foot increments. And you do that as the average road width. So your surveyor is going out, you know, just keeping in mind 100 feet is pretty tight. We could be 1.5 miles away from the main road intersection. So should you do it at 10th mile increments, average width of 20 feet, again, whether it's white line, or asphalt. And secondly, I would think you would also be looking at direction of travel. So we allow the surveyor, engineer of record, whoever that may be, because not all our documents may be a full-blown subdivision with drainage plans. It may be 10 lots that come back down to a county approved road, right? So we may not be improving infrastructure, so it may just be a surveyor doing this. How do we determine the direction of egress and ingress? If it's in the middle of the road that, you know, are we going to say, okay, are we going to do this, use traffic studies to do that? Or are we going to say, hey, we're going to come out of Simpson Road, we're going to come down to Stinky Creek and then to here, and all this road in this direction of travel measures that. Which some of these things may be taken into consideration on how you accomplish that based off number of lots in the development. I think, when it comes to, one thing I would just think out loud is if you're looking at traffic studies, if you're looking at acceleration or deceleration lanes, and by the way, air regulations, discuss traffic studies on page 30J in the subregs. And there's even a section in our subregs that talks about a deceleration lane. I would think that it might be thought worthy to say, once a development exceeded this number of lots, is when you get more in depth in that detail as to what you're looking for. So, do we set, do we base it off number of lots or traffic study? And then, what regs do we use as far as improvement of the road? Do we use, currently our subregs have a standard on road construction, which is what we use to do our interior roads, but these are our primary county roads. So is it, we're gonna use the same 8 inches of base, so much binder, so much top coat? If I'm only required to, let's say I got a 20-foot road, but if I go white line to white line, I need another 6 inches here and 6 inches here. We're just gonna cut out that, build a base and top coat the edges, or we're gonna require top coating across the top. Some of this stuff I personally think should be worked through the highway department.
I agree 100%.
And how you would go about accomplishing that. I know some jurisdictions, there's been discussion that they work in conjunction. It could be that the highway department says, well, that road's on our list of paving. If you improve it in this manner, then the top coating, will be taking care of it, whatever. It's almost the same way with the infrastructure of the ditches, right? Because we don't know, every road's different if you drove through the county. So it's almost as if, do we need to set the standards of, as some jurisdictions have, you got this wide road, this much shoulder, you got to create ditching at this slope. It goes in great detail of that. Or is that something that we set the standard of, this is your road width measurements. This number of lots requires traffic studies, it requires this, and then the engineer will be responsible for submitting plans for the highway department for approval for that drainage and infrastructure. Now, any thoughts? This addresses the things that have been brought up with traffic studies. How do you base a design?
Just a couple of questions, so that way I get my mind wrapped around it. If I got a 300-acre farm
Yes, sir.
and I want to bust that into 6 parcels, does each one of those parcels have to have a minimum of a 20-foot wide roadway where that driveway connects? So if we're going to hang the hat on any parcel that subdivides more than 5 lots, has to have a county roadway of 20 feet or wider. So does that apply to a 200 or 300-acre farm?
You picked a good one there, okay? So technically, because you picked parcels, so I assume all those parcels are gonna be greater than 5 acres, because you did 6 parcels on 300 acres, and it's not a subdivision. We'll never see it. Because by state law, it's not a subdivision property.
Does anyone have the power to supersede or hear a special exception to waive any of that? Like a planning commission or the road superintendent or county commission?
For the road standard.
If we change it, yeah.
I would think that any appeal to the road standards will be done through the Board of Zoning Appeals, as far as waiving those standards. I would say that, if we have a regulation in place, we shouldn't. If it's not a topographical or special land feature, we shouldn't grant variances for that.
My first thought, and everything you say, I could see where a lot of the applications would be good and fitting. My thought would be, have we reviewed what the county road standards are? And I forget the acronym, MUCED or whatever. There's a standard highway manual that most roads are built by. Have we even looked at that to see how they classify measurements of markings or roadway. Waller may know a little bit more from his engineering days, but I think there's uniform books that actually call for a lot of those standards in there.
Yeah, there is, and most of them refer back to a federal highway standard.
Isn't it like MUCED or
Yeah, I
something?
forget the acronym too.
So I'd be curious to review those documents and see what their standard says, and then, instead of just trying to make up a bunch of just random things, actually kind of create it by a standard that's already kind of
Right, well,
marked out in some other.
and one of the things I did mention is also where you're getting your, it's a matter of doing the on-ground verification. Some jurisdictions use the county road list. Well, if you look at the county road list here, it's shocking actually. There's many roads that exceed 20 feet in width. But I think it's based on where that measurement may have been taken as opposed to that being a full width road.
One of my
Same with
curiosities.
the traffic study. If you look at traffic studies, you that I saw, I talked to Billy about this, and it was interesting to hear the amount of traffic studies and actually decrease in traffic on some of the roads that we have and the amount of cars that they could take. And that's why the other part of this comes into traffic studies are hard for me to understand. And the reason I say that is you go into some jurisdictions that use traffic studies and you see some roads that appear to be subpart of what we have here with a lot more density on them. It just doesn't make sense that amount of traffic could be placed on that road. But again, as far as the design and road standards, I guess I could get with the highway department, see what type of road standards they have. Again, this is Billy didn't give me this, I don't know where it come from. They give you your average road width, and they give you your average daily totals for traffic study. I should have got y'all a copy of this. 2,000 average daily traffic count on a 18-foot surface.
That's what he says it will handle, or whoever he got
This is
that.
out of the manual, yes. Yes.
Do you think we may be setting the early footsteps of mandating the county when they go in to resurface a road or do road improvements, that we're setting the standards that the road superintendent's gonna have to meet? If we're just going first and saying the county road's 20 feet from interior to interior of the white lines, are we making a standard for him that he is gonna find hard to accomplish when he's rebuilding the county road? Because from what I deal with, a lot of the property deeds still go to the center of the roadway, so the county don't actually even own that, or own that parcel. So my curiosity is, are we setting a precedence in a rule and a reg
Yeah.
that he's gonna struggle with if he's having to go out here in the county and resurface a road or rebuild it?
I would think that we're not setting his precedence as much, and I'm just my thought, as much as we are for if someone's gonna develop on that road, what their precedence is gonna be. I would assume, and Mr. Pickle, if you speak, he's gonna go resurface what's out there. He's not gonna try to increase to try to meet some new standard, just in case somebody wants to develop, would be my thought. Again, I don't know that he's gonna go out and stripe a road to see what, with the striping, he can get on that, to see if that is gonna be as much as they're gonna put it back on, someone want to develop that.
And I think in a lot of cases, this is really needed and really warranted, and I know of some of these cases that's kind of why we're trying to fix it. But I just want to be fair, to the citizen or to the property owner. If we're not following the rules, how can we legally enforce them to follow the rules? So that's where I worry about if the road superintendent's not going to upgrade the road to meet the minimum county standard. It's kind of hypocritical to make the citizen do it.
Well, I think a new road, if there was a new road that did not exist before, and we created a standard, the new standard would apply to it, but any existing road would be like a lot of record, that like he wouldn't be required to do anything. He would be grandfathered in. I don't see that as an issue. I just see this, as far as setting a new standard. I think it only applies to any new road that that would come into existence after this, and it'd be
Absolutely.
a new road.
But we're making that homeowner, that farm owner, or that developer upgrade the roads that's substandard at their cost.
No, I don't see it that way. This is that's a new road. I'm not saying, I'm just saying if you build a new road, you're gonna have to be, and if we were to make a new standard, you'd have to make the new road to that new standard, and that would be on the county. And I'm not talking about, you know, for whatever reason that road's created, it'd have to be built, whether the developer makes it or the county makes it.
But in this case,
But in retrofitting a road, like Billy, if Mr. Pickle was gonna redo a road, repave it, does he have to bring it up to this new standard? No. You know, like if it's just a repaving job, because it's that time for that road to be done.
but you're saying that developer would have to.
But with the
Yes.
that's the change though. The change is the density that the developer brings. That's why, I mean, you know, like as far as who does all the work, I mean, like we should, in general, we should have standards of, you know, whatever we come up with, but but we don't need to do the work for the developer. If the
I agree with you.
Yeah, if, you know, if
I
the
agree.
developer wants to pursue this, then that's part of the development process of coming up with, you know, with finding out what expenses there need to be made.
Right, and you, whether you consider 10 lots too few or too many on this width road, I mean, that's, I think, again, it's just that what we're about to do is try to create this and make a recommendation. Take it to county commission, so it's 10 lots, that area, that's what they passed, right now it's 10 lots. Should it be more, should it be less? And that's things to be thought of, but, obviously, the new roads that are built to the standard. Our subdivision roads we accept, the one out off of Wilkerson, was considered a county standard road. But you are correct, what's gonna happen is somebody wants to come in and do us an 10 lot subdivision, and even if they're going to not put a improved road connection, they're all gonna connect to that road, then obviously they're gonna have to meet these standards, and they'll have to bring that road up to standard. So the main thing is are we good with the 20-foot lot line to lot line? It's creating, where do we wanna start with the width of road, and then what type of standard we want in place for improvement of that road, and whether we turn that over and say, okay, the ditching, the design of that, I think should just be approved through the highway department. And then as we get to larger lot subdivisions, do we wanna have, traffic studies conducted, or do we wanna mandate, deceleration lanes or turn lanes, however you wanna phrase that?
My question is, you know, you're talking about a 20-foot width. The county's done voted, county commission's done voted for 20-foot width,
Yes, sir.
white line to white line.
Yes, sir.
I want it measured every 100 foot. We don't even need to consider none of that stuff. They've done voted on it. So why should we consider that? I mean, the other things, I agree with Leon and everything, but, you know, the 20-foot width and measured white line to white line, we shouldn't even have to consider that.
I understand.
They've done voted on
They have.
it. So what,
I put the information out there.
I understand that, but it's just like we done last time. They got the cart before the horse.
I understand, but, I just put it out there because you are the planning commission, and if we have any thought that you all have on this in the development, I'll definitely take that back. I'm not saying it'll pass, I'm not saying anything would, but obviously,
But my question is, it's done passed.
it has. It
So-
has. So, and I agree 100%. My only thing that I've even said in that is, well, if you wanna go to 20 foot, but we still gotta consider, the storm drainage of that. We still gotta consider, again, do you really wanna go white line, or you just wanna say 21
It's
foot
done
asphalt
done.
surface?
They've done that, Jim.
They have, but I would think, I'm just, how do I say this?
There ain't no
If
way
white
to
line
say
to
it.
white line is difficult, and just take as you drive down the road, you see how that could change over time by restriping, you see how a
Drive
lot
Meadow
of things
Road
could
West,
affect.
drive Meadow Road West. It's not 12 foot wide, and it's got a yellow line and 2 white lines on
Yeah.
it. The white lines are not 5 foot apart. I mean, between the yellow and the white's not 5 foot apart.
But my thought would be is if you all said, you know, we can understand the white line being an issue, we would be more apt to say 21-foot asphalt surface. It just takes to the asphalt surface rather than the white lines. I'm just giving you an example. I know it's already passed, but this is what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying.
Did the passage in county commission clarify where the 20-foot mark was? Or is that what you're asking us to determine?
No, it is. I mean, what has been passed is 20 feet, white line to white line, inside dimension.
I hear it is.
But again, I only think of this, if I'd have to talk to Billy, is when, you know, the one thing he's talking about is when they restripe a road, we're just gonna go, they're gonna take it out as far as they can to the edges to create the stripes to make that road neat. Or if you restripe the roads now, somebody else has striped it further in, just makes it a little more,
Well, I mean,
it's
if we
just my
go,
thoughts on that.
if we go 20 foot like they're saying, just like Leon said and Ryan said, you know, if you got a road and it's 20 foot, that's fine. But the first a developer wanting to develop a piece of land a mile and a half down the road, it's his baby. And he's gotta bring it up to that standard.
Yes, sir. And that's what they want to know, the rest of what we wanna do with the standard, I guess, for lack of it.
Well, why didn't they do it all? They done it all to start with. You got two of them sitting back there. They
I
should've done
present
something.
the information, I don't question.
Did they bring up anything in that meeting about extra space for those rumbles?
They're on the white line.
They are on the white line.
Yeah, most of them are.
I was thinking they were outside them.
No, most of them are on
Interstate
the white
there.
line.
They did, and again, I think some of the areas, again, is where you get into traffic studies. And your thoughts on number of lots, whether you require traffic studies, where you're gonna require a turn lane possibly, and things of that nature, and addressing that. Addressing how you're gonna be required to build it up to standard. Whether it's the regs we have in place for a subdivision road, which is our county road standard as far as I know, and how that would be working and coordinating.
Right, with the traffic study, will that help decide like the flow of traffic, you know, like what we talked about before, like we could be close to the main road, but everybody's gonna go the opposite way at work. I mean, does the traffic study take that into account?
You know, obviously just, I mean, some of these traffic studies obviously are used just to say, yeah, this road based off its construction now will support this traffic count. We're gonna, if we go, obviously, 20 feet white line to white line, takes you up to a 4,000 average daily count traffic study. Pretty significant.
But,
So on your other traffic studies, I think they also are looking in how they're gonna ingress, egress, and like you said, get to those primary roads. I think when it comes to turn lanes though, sight distances, I think what any type of traffic study would do, it would evaluate the entrances of that subdivision. It'd evaluate what that road condition is, if there was a need for a turn lane, or the sight distance isn't, adequate, what may need to occur with that.
Now, they'll address all of that. They'll address turning movements out of that subdivision and estimate which way they're gonna go. It may not be right and it may be right, but there's methods that they use to do that.
Right, so I guess my premise would be is, do we want to just say 50 lots, you gotta have a turn lane? Or do you say, once we exceed this amount of lots in any type of development, there needs to be a traffic study for you? We already know what our width is. That's some of that information.
so that's
Trying to
10
get-
lots, 10 lots.
But he's talking about it at a different level. If you go to 20 lots, then
No.
you require a traffic.
I'm just reading you what they passed.
Yeah, but he's asking if we wanna update
Well-
that too, for bigger subdivisions.
Right, I agree, it's 10 lots right now, white line to white line.
That's right, 20 foot.
But the other questions that's been sent down to be reviewed, obviously, are acceleration, deceleration lanes. You know, again, like I read, one of the things that was on when the moratorium come out, you know, if there's an average daily traffic count of 1,500 cars or greater, then a turn lane, acceleration, deceleration lanes must be installed. That's one of the things that was discussed before the moratorium was in place.
I think that's something where Billy's gonna have to get involved. I mean, I agree with the traffic study and everything, but Billy knows more about that than we do. He's gonna have to,
He's gonna have to deal with it.
that's right.
I would agree that he would probably deal with the road construction and stuff. I think it's a matter of us identifying when a traffic study is gonna be required. You know, right now, if we say 10 lots, then anything over 10 lots, and that would be fine, that's a recommendation, you know, once I get a 10-lot plat, we're gonna require the engineer to submit a traffic study showing that everything meets. Unless this commission thinks that's too small a number.
I think that's too small a number.
Yes, sir. So is it more of a 50-lot subdivision, or is it a 100 lots? You know, where is that number at that you think that there's really enough traffic coming in and out
To require a traffic study.
to require a traffic study? And then you start looking at the remaining conditions based on location of subdivision, what the road conditions are in that area that might trigger other things that traffic study would pick up and identify. Basically telling us that it's safe as it is, or you need a turn lane. And I would say that, you know, once you get some of that information, it does kind of help the county, in my opinion, to say, hey, we had the professionals come out and evaluate this, and there was no need for a turn lane. We've done our due diligence there.
You could put one of the provisions that you're gonna review for this standard when you get back to the commission is signaling and signage, you know, just at which point you have to consider some kind of signal type device or flashing lights or some kind of stop intersection. You know, that's something else you can involve to see what the standards call for.
And that's the stuff that I'll definitely get with Billy on, because he'll be more familiar with TDOT standards, federal highway, whatever it might be, whatever standards. they use. A lot of our regs refer back to the TDOT standards.
Can you email us that form you had there that,
This?
yeah,
I will.
yeah.
And since we're looking at it, they're only looking at it from a residential standpoint for 5 lots or 10 lots or more, but do we need to consider a commercial type setting? To where you may have heavy trucks, tractor trailers, because you know, we run into that situation twice on Hotchkiss Valley Road. And we kind of ultimately made our decisions based on the traffic and the clarifications, the speed, and it posting what kind of traffic could make that a thoroughfare. So we may want to look at it from a commercial standpoint as well.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Just employees and number, you know, like it's gonna be, how much traffic is that business gonna generate?
And I have thought, I've lost it. Thank you. Should there be consideration, and I'm just putting this out there, some of the regs I've read, I get a submittal for, or Bill gets a submittal for a plat, 9 lots off of 100 acres. We approve the plat, we come back, we do another 9 lots. Should there be anything in place that addresses the, so in some other regs I've read, they have some different, it's broke down differently in the way they look at subdivision, road widths and things. And there is some stipulations that, you know, in instance, our more than 5 lots. So we get a plat for 5 lots. It doesn't have to be on 18-foot road. I can come back later and I can do 3 more lots. So I basically just continue to subdivide the property down in that manner, and you skirt the other rig, right? Should there be a time frame for which a plat for that same parcel, the parent parcel, can be submitted? I've seen some jurisdictions that do a 1-year period before any more subdivision can be done on the parent parcel.
Or just leave it at 10 for the parent parcel, and then once you get to 10, it triggers that standard.
Yeah, I mean, but what they would, I guess what may be the argument is, well, I've just done a line lot subdivision. This subdivision's only 8 lots though. Do we need verbiage that
But
just
you've got
describe
17
that?
lot, you've got a 17 lot subdivision. In reality, you've just done it twice.
You did it twice.
Yeah.
And without any delay, you know, submit it this month, get it approved, submit the next plat, the next month to be approved. Should be a time frame of considered.
I'd say forever.
And do you consider too the parcel size and if it's applicable for duplexes? So if you've got a 4 parcel, or if you've got a 5 parcel and you've got 10 units, that's gonna change your traffic volume.
It would.
So
Based
do
on
you
the
require that if it's an automatically multifamily? And one of the things, my last comment, I know we're fixing to go to our next meeting, but we may want to have a consideration in the provision of gated entrances. You know, if they're electric gates or this or that, to keep from holding traffic in the roadway, to make that transition for the ingress is the setback of the gates would have to be within a period of a distance to where that vehicle and trailer could get off the roadway, for the time elapsed for that gate.
I guess we're out of time.
You want us to give you our comments and email them? or-
If you wanna send me some email comments, that'd be good. I think probably just start with the lots and start with some of this information will help us get something better together for, next workshop. Thank you all.
Thank you. It's 5:30, so we will call the Loudon County Regional Planning Commission to order. Would you stand with me, please, and pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Ron Bright,
Here?
Jim Brooks,
Here.
Todd Kennedy, Keith Buckles, Pam McNew,
Here.
John Napier,
Here.
Leon Shields.
Here.
Mike Waller,
Here,
Jimmy Williams.
Do I hear an approval for the minutes from the September meeting?
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Land agenda items. A, subdivision plat for 3 lots. Applicant property owner Bill Bishop, tax map 058, parcel 043.00 and 044.00. Located 1000 Bishop Road, A3 Developing Agricultural District, District 1. Bill Bishop, is he here?
I'm here to represent him.
You wanna tell us what you got in mind?
So basically, he is adding that 2.71 acre lot with his house. And then the old farmhouse where Margaret lived has been sectioned off with an acre. He's keeping it in his name, and letting his daughter live there. So that's basically what's going on with that.
We looked at this last month, right? As rezoning?
It was rezoned.
Something, yeah, so this is the plat for that
Yes, sir.
rezoning.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. B, subdivision plat for 3 lots. Applicant Terry Patton, property owner True to Life, tax map 017, parcel 088.00 and 088.02 and 088.03, located Wilkerson Road, A3 Developing Agricultural District, District 6. Mr. Patton.
I'm Terry Patton, I reside at 2030 Wilkerson Road. And what I had to do, I already had these 3 lots platted. And when I submitted to build a 3-car garage, because of the zoning being A2, I didn't have enough land mass to equate to the 2.5 acres, and I submitted for a variance, and I was turned down. So when I got turned down for the variance to get a structure in the front yard, I had to realign all my property lines. I'm not changing anything. I still have the 1 acre at lot 4. I still have 1 acre lot at lot 3. And I added to get to 2.5 acres on the 2030 Wilkerson. So there's nothing changed here except a reconfiguration of the lot lines. And so that's what I'm submitting today. And last night I got approved to be A3 zoning, so that I would be in compliance with the 1 acre lots that I already had in the A2 zoning, and so I'm just here tonight to ask you to approve the new survey plat that gives me the same thing I already have, but I have A3 zoning now, and I can now apply for a building permit for the garage that I've been trying to get for, and this cost me thousands of dollars to get a resurvey and to jump through the hoops that I need to jump through to have me a garage, to keep my skid steer, my razor, my golf carts, just to get my equipment in, out of the weather. So I would appreciate you voting for this, for me to have this.
We're okay, Jim?
Everything's in order.
This will be able, he'll be able to accomplish what he needs without any variances
I
going
believe he'll
forward.
be in good shape, yes, sir.
What did they vote on last time?
Kind
Have we done voted on it? When they,
No,
he
this
said
is,
they,
he had to replat, so this is just voting for his.
well, he said they voted last night.
That was for A3 zoning, because when he had to replat, he had substandard lots.
Okay,
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. C, subdivision plat for 3 lots, applicant, Ward Landing Survey, property owner Robert Hudson, tax map 019, parcel 075.01, located 6300 Hubbard Road, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 5. Yes, sir.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Ward representing the Hubbards. Our office is at 667 Vanderbilt Pike in Knoxville, 37918. This is a piece that has had 3 houses on it forever and a day. They would have been grandfathered, but at one point in time, they broke off an unoccupied portion of the land and sold it off, and I understand that negated their grandfather status, so that now they have 3 houses on one piece of property, and zoning doesn't allow that. So we're trying to break this into 3 pieces so that they can be in compliance with zoning and rebuild and add on to a house that was partially burned about a year ago. So that's rebuilding that house is what kicked over this whole anthill.
Everything good, Jim?
Make a comment,
Everything's
please.
in
I'm Linda Harrison Hudson.
Would you stand, please?
I want to clarify that the 3 houses on the land, one of them is a cabin that my dad moved in the 50s from Oak Ridge, and he moved it for its historical value. It had no intention of becoming a house, even though I'm living in it right now with the raccoons and the skunks that come every night. I have no hot water right now, so I'm sort of hillbillying it or whatever. But that shop was never a house. Like I say, I've modified it to where I'm staying in it now. When my house burned in 2022, I thought, I'm gonna rebuild this back. This was a house Preston Harrison, my daddy, built in the 40s. And it has been there since the 40s. This is land my grandfather had, Charles Harrison, and it's got a lot of sentimental value to me. The other house is a workshop my dad built in the 60s. He built furniture, custom-made furniture, and sold antiques. It was a workshop. My son has been living in it since he got married in 2008. But as far as big elaborate houses, we don't have them. You know, but like I say, if there's any way, this land's never gonna be subdivided. I've got 7 acres. And I plan to leave that to my children. It's been in the Harrison family over 100 years. And like I say, it has a lot of sentimental value. I'm 76, I want a house built before I die. Waited 2 years for Eric Nelson, because I have heard he's an excellent builder. And we were hoping we just could go in there and rebuild, and then this has come up. So, you know, if you all would reconsider even putting the land back, I don't want a bunch of tracts. I want a farm of 7 acres. And like I say, I just want to build a house.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
By the way, I've got some of your dad's furniture in my home. He was a
He
master
lived in your house a
craftsman.
while when Bobby and I got married. He's a fine craftsman. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
item D and E have been postponed. They were unable to attend.
Okay. F, rezone request from A1/R -3, R-E/F-1 to A-3/R-E/F-1 zoning. You make sense of that, you're a better man than I am. Applicant property owner Pamela Hood, tax map 036, parcels 158.00, located 270 Kaiser Station Road, A1 Agriculture Forestry District, Single Family Overlay District, Floodway District, District 3, approximately 1.796 acres only. Pamela Hood, yes.
Okay, it was a farmhouse, and I got tired of keeping the property up around the farm, so I decided to sell the farmhouse off from the farm.
Any questions?
So you're just splitting 1 acre off for the farmhouse and leaving
Yeah,
the
a
rest
little
of
over an acre, I'm splitting it off to sell the farmhouse, so I don't have to maintain the yard and all that stuff. It's just an expense that I don't need.
Jim?
No issues with that.
Anybody else got any problem?
Make a
I've not
motion
heard
to
of it.
approve it.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Mr. Chairman, if I can,
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins, I think the gentleman on item number E sitting in the front row. So I just want to make sure they don't get overlooked.
Back up.
The rezone request R1 R to C2.
No, the issue is,
You have the whole paper.
I have the old agenda that I was given first. Now I've got the new agenda. Item E is on the agenda. That's the wrong one.
These still off?
Yes.
The Fairview Road is off, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's back up to E.
Apologize.
Rezone request R1 to C2 zoning, applicant Welshman Properties, property owner William Llewell on tax map 070L, Group B, parcel 007.00 through 010.00, located Maple Street, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 3.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Is
This
this the
property,
Davis community
No,
where we are?
it's old super building.
this old super building in Greenback,
Okay.
they're at the corner of the red light. When we purchased the property, we learned that it was zoned R1 residential. And, Mr. Jenkins notified me that if the property for some reason was a complete loss, we could not build it as is to rebuild it. So I'm asking the board if they can prove it to a C2, that if there, for whatever reason, there's a complete loss of that building, we can rebuild it as.
What are you gonna do with it?
I have a 3D printing company and I print 3D models out of there.
Any problem, Jim?
I don't, this will go forward to the city of Greenback. I don't think anyone has a problem with the rezoning to C2. The only thing I've discussed with him was the uses as to whether that would be allowable use in the C2 zoning district.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve.
Second.
Got moved and second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. G, rezone request from A2 to A3 zoning, applicant property owner Donnie Deputy, tax map 084, parcel 085-100, located 7299 Niles Ferry Road. A2 Rural Residential District, District 3, approximately 1 acre only. Mr. Deputy.
No, my name is Zeb Beeson, I'm the surveyor representing them.
Okay, your name is what again?
My name is Zeb Beeson.
Okay.
My residence is 6741 Ball Road in Knoxville. They have 2 existing houses on the property, and they're just simply wanting to cut off an acre so they can sell the house if needed in the future. They don't have plans to sell it now, but they just want to have it available to sell, and we need to request to zone that acre to be an acre.
Jim, any problems?
No, sir, I've not heard anything.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Thank you.
Thank you. H, rezone request from A2 to A3 zoning, applicant property owner Tanya Glenn, tax map 084, parcel 069.02, located 859 McGee Road, A2 Rural Residential District, District 3, approximately 1 acre only. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're just gonna, give them a sign an acre.
No problem, Jim. Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. I, rezone request from A1 to A3 zoning. Applicant Anthony Garner, property owner Steve Harrison, tax map 077, parcel 008-100, located Mayo Road, A1 Agriculture Forestry District, District 4, approximately 2 acres only.
Yes, I got 2 acres that joins the 2 lots. I own 2 lots to the right of the 2 separate lots. And I just bought these 2 acres, whatever is on where I can give to my kid and build a house on when it gets there.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. There you are. J, rezone request from A1 to A2 zoning, applicant property owner Ty Davis, tax map 076, parcel 055-100, located 15101 Sunnyside Road, A1 Agriculture Forestry District, District 4, approximately 3 acres only. Mr. Davis.
Yes, I want to sell that smaller section for my sister to build a house.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. J, rezone request from A1, I'm sorry, we've already
K.
done that.
K.
K, rezone request from A1 to A3 zoning, applicant property owner Leslie Payne, tax map 072, parcel 058.08, located 8475 Erie Road, A1 Agriculture Forestry District, District 4, approximately 1 acre only.
I want to move my in-laws, onto the property, so my wife can take care of them.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. 4, county commission action on planning commission recommendations. Jim?
County Commission, of course, what we discussed with the road standards, but they also, followed the recommendations of the Planning Commission on the rezoning request.
Very good. Codes department activity.
Nothing additional to add.
Any comments from the public before we adjourn? Up to the planning department.
Nothing additional.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll move.
All in favor, say aye. We are adjourned.
Forever.
Some point.
Have already been reviewed, then bring it in and leave
Just looking over.
Y'all have fun.
See you later. Thank you. I feel fine, it's just, I sound fine.
He's good.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in years, that's right. We ready?
Yes, sir.
You ready? We are ready. Need to call the Loudon County Board of Zoning Appeals to order. And if you're gonna speak on any subject here tonight, you need to stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you may give in the causes now pending before this commission will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. I read the minutes, and I wasn't here last month.
I'll make a motion to approve.
No, I wasn't here, she gone wrong.
Oh. It
How
says
have
you
you
were absent.
absent?
I wasn't here.
It says you were absent.
It says you're
Read the
absent.
minutes.
He called the meeting to order.
I called the meeting to order. That's all I got.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve based on his revision.
Got it.
Yeah, I need some credit.
Yeah, we gotta get right in. Got a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Planned agenda items. Variance request to combine 2 lots on a 6-lot shared driveway and subdivide a larger tract into 2 lots, leaving 6 lots on the shared driveway. Applicant property owner Salvador Maginga. I can't talk. Tax map 041 parcel 110.00 located 7618 Highway 72 South, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 1. Salvador here?
Mr. Chairman, can I describe this to you?
Yep.
This is a shared driveway standard that was created years ago. The standards have since changed. They are looking to combine the 2 smaller lots here into 1 tract. There's not a dwelling on the 1 tract, so they're gonna take that tract away, and then the large tract at the end, which was 20-something acres,
27.
they're gonna create 2 greater than 5-acre tracts. But that still leaves to 6 lots. It started at 6, it still leaves to 6, but our current standard only allows for 4. And that's why I felt the variance was necessary.
So you ain't got a problem?
No, sir.
Anybody else?
I'll make a motion to approve since it's grandfathered in, it's 6 lots.
Got a motion?
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any more comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise.
We may wanna make a note, Mr. Chairman, on that driveway, connection. On shared driveways, more than 5 lots, this would fall under that category, wouldn't it? We may wanna consider that in our provisions for the new asphalt width. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. B, variance request to occupy a guinea pig rescue on property. Applicant Sean Bauman, property owner Jamie Roberts, tax map 009, parcel 127.00, located 1254 US Highway 70, A2 Rural Residential District, District 5. What is done?
We just
filled out the variance, or I guess we're coming here just to ask for approval.
They were in here, last month in regards to the complaint they'd received on the property on Highway 70 where they had the single wide home that y'all give them 6 months to remove, and that they were running a guinea pig, rescue from this location.
How many guinea pigs you got?
40.
We usually keep 40 to 50.
We have received
Where do you
additional
get guinea
complaints.
pigs from?
We have over 200, and right now, 260 on our waiting list. all
For a
over East
guinea
Tennessee.
pig?
Yes, sir. What happens is people get them and don't realize what they take for care, and they think you're getting for their children. Next thing you know, we're getting at least 10 phone calls a day to have them anywhere
You
from.
just eat them, or what do you do with
Yeah,
them?
we feed them. We have them in cages, and then.
Said you eat them.
Oh, eat them, oh, no. Of course we feed them, yeah, no, we don't eat them. We just, we do is we find new homes for them, or rehabilitate them.
What Jim said about the trailer, Jim. Is
I
it
apologize, I
gone?
forgot you were not home here.
I wasn't here.
And so it come in on a complaint that they were appealing, and the board gave them 6 months to remove this single wide home. But in the interim, they told them to come back and address running this rescue. When I look at it, I look more of similar to a pound veterinarian type.
So we give them 6 months last month.
Last month,
Okay.
remove the single
Just to
wide.
remove the
To
trailer.
remove the
Yeah,
trailer.
now they're wanting permission
Now
to
they want-
continue this.
Now they're wanting a guinea
rescue.
pig rescue.
Yes.
Continue to operate their business.
I ain't
So
never
they're
heard
Now, does the
nonprofit.
mobile home does someone live in it, or is it just acted as a commercial?
It's just a commercial home. It's gutted. It's got no AC, it's got no water, it's got nothing. It just
That's
has.
where the guinea pigs are at?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you want a variance to keep the trailer?
No,
No, to keep the
You want
business.
the
They
guinea
told us
pigs
to
to
cease and
stay in the
desist on
trailer.
business.
We've told them that they're in violation of zoning for the mobile home and the rescue.
they have a shed they're gonna move the guinea pigs to and take the trailer away, so they're gonna
Yeah.
continue.
Is that still on the table?
Yeah, no, the trailer's not, the trailer's
The
going.
trailer's not on the
It's
table.
going,
Yeah.
we're just gonna allow them to operate their nonprofit there.
That is the request. We have received additional complaints this week,
And the complaints are on,
the guinea pig rescue. There's some structures that's being placed, I don't know what they're being used for. They would know, some tent type structures that's being
Yes.
placed on the property.
What's
And,
it for?
It's called a clamshell. It's like one of those pop-up things you put over when you go, camping, like over your picnic table. And because we're moving everything out of that shed to be able to facilitate that for the guinea pigs. So we just put everything in there where we're trying
It's temporary.
to make other room.
How the shed, are you calling the trailer the shed, or?
No, we actually have a shed on the property. It's a 12 by 25, something like that. Shed that's always been there. It's been there for a while. I say it's been there for now, maybe 4 years.
How many guinea pigs you just got, 40?
Ish, yeah.
so there's nothing in the current reg that enables them to have this. It's all prohibited.
Well, when people talk about rescue, I don't consider these, farm animals. I consider them domestic, so it'd be like someone wanting to operate a cat rescue, a dog rescue, so those things I could only classify, I would look at them as, more like a animal shelter type, use.
Is it
More or less.
residential or agricultural?
This is
Say two, isn't it?
They too.
A2, and so even as a allowable use, in A2, that's usually primary use. So like, the Peepaw spay and neutering is in a zoning district, but that's the principal use of the property.
Why were these people complaining, did they
Uh,
say?
I didn't take that call.
Is anybody here tonight?
This week,
This
yes.
week, they thought people were living in tents and everything, I drove by there, they're not living in them, they just got.
Is anybody here, anybody got anything to say in the audience?
So we just put that up temporary just so we could.
We've got to clean the
move
shed out to move the pigs to the shed because we have to get the pigs out of that house. So we
Out
put a
of the trailer.
temporary, it's just a temporary,
Do
like.
y'all
camp-
live there?
Yes.
We have, we have the permit for our house to be there.
Okay, so you got a house.
We have-
Well, what it was is we had that single wide there, and then we moved it because it was just a shed, basically. And we had our new house put in, we did get the permit for, but we didn't realize you couldn't have two, something else considered that was built as a home on the property as well. So that's where it was, we didn't know, so that's why, you know, you all gave us 6 months to get rid of it, and that's fine. We're doing what we can to get rid of it.
But you have a dwelling that you're living in on the parcel,
Yes.
and it's all within code.
So where would the guinea pigs go to now? I mean,
Where the existing shed is, if you look on the overview of it, like, I don't know, sometimes on the picture it will show it, where the shed sits now is where it will be permanent. I'm not gonna move that shed again. 'Cause
So
it's not
that's where
like-
you're gonna put the guinea pigs in the shed?
I'm gonna put them in the shed, yeah.
We would like to put another shed where the house is right now, eventually that's larger, where it could hold more,
Yeah.
if we can have the rescue.
How big area does it take to hold 40 big guinea pigs?
Well,
You
we
put them in a
can,
toilet paper box, can't you?
No, actually, each of them have, we can have 2 per 8 feet
8 square foot.
cages. The problem is
How big of guinea pigs are they?
they're
I
small
thought they were
guinea
just little bitty fellas.
They
Yeah,
are,
well,
but you'd be
yeah, man.
surprised, they fight.
Let them fight.
Yeah, they fight. And so they have to be separated, they have to have a certain amount of space. So in order to have 50-ish guinea pigs, you need this
Of course,
amount of
I've heard
space.
it all now.
And,
They have a
but
federal
we're just-
permit.
Huh?
They have a permit.
Yeah, we have we have our you know, our license
We
and
have a 501(c).
501(c), we have all that stuff. But the problem is that when you have that many, we're only scratching the surface of what people are trying to get rid of. I mean, they're feeding them to snakes, because they can't get rid of
You
them.
got snakes?
No, I don't have snakes, but
So
that's
you
what
weren't here last
I
time,
know.
but the
It's
whole,
just blowing my mind.
the whole situation is, and what you don't know until you're in the guinea pig world, is that there is a problem in our community. If you get a guinea pig and for some reason your life changes, okay, so
I
that's,
understand all that,
sickness
but
or
I just
whatever,
kill
there's
the
nowhere
guinea
for them
pig
to
and throw
go.
him in the ditch and go on.
Well, you
They
would think, but
die.
they come home.
They will die.
Yeah, or they die.
You
We've
need to
had,
get you a bunch of them wheels, put them guinea pigs running them wheels, and
and
make
just for electricity.
electricity. That's what you need to
How
do.
large of a track is it?
Anybody will make a motion.
I'll make a motion we approve.
5.75.
And it's kinda out in it's remote. a little
Yeah,
bit
we're up
remote.
past,
We're on
You
the
got
line.
some complaints, Jim?
the Roane County line runs right through our yard.
How many
Yeah.
complaints? 1, 2,
Uh,
2?
Is that for people, they thought they was living in the tents? Was that
well, the
complaint?
original complaint come in was about the mobile home and the rescue being operated.
That's gonna be fixed, right?
Right.
The mobile home is gonna be corrected.
And see-
So now it's down to the rescue being operated.
Which I guess I don't see where the complaints would come from. I mean, the tent out there's only 8 feet by 8 feet.
There's no smell, there's no noise, there's no traffic.
No, there's no more traffic than people coming. We maybe have 3 at the most, per week that come. That's at our highest. You know, maybe 1, and maybe 1 week we might have, 3. But that's about it. No more than like. if the
Mr.
neighbor
Napier made a motion to approve.
got a
I'll second.
motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
I
Anybody
guess my
else?
question is, if it is approved, are we able to put a sign out there, or are we not able
That's
to? put a
Jim
sign?
right there. I don't know.
Cause we had a sign out there at one time, it's just like a banner, cause when you come down the driveway, it does split 3 different ways. Cause we have a mother-in-law, us, and then the guinea pig, and it just helps it for people to facilitate to get down to there. If not, they end up at our house.
Well, you could put up a nice mailbox with big numbers on it. and-
We do.
It's just
Guinea
really
pig.
hard
Put a
to
guinea
find.
pig
With a guinea
mailbox
pig,
out.
yeah, guinea pig mailbox, that would,
We do, but
It's
they're
really
all
hard to
clumped
find.
together, cause they're at the beginning of the driveway, and the driveway goes down and splits off 3 ways.
And our address is 1254 Highway 70 West, but depending on your GPS, it's 1254 Kingston Highway, or it's 1254 US 70. So there's 3 different addresses for the same
For the same, yeah.
address.
And
And then
the
like some
county.
people end up in like Oneida or something, because apparently there's a 1254 Highway 70 up there.
I'm out. We got a motion and a second. You're just gonna fight this sign out with Jim.
I wouldn't push the issue with the sign if I were you. Your neighbors are already complaining,
Which,
so
can we find out which neighbor this is?
Complaining about the
you
tent-
can go to
tent's
your
gonna go.
neighbors and ask.
Okay,
That'd
okay.
be the best
Turn
thing
the
to do.
guinea pigs loose on them. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed likewise. You're good.
Thank you so much, guys.
Let's see, can it get any better? Variance request to build a garage without a primary dwelling. Applicant property owner Russell Holland, tax map 059, parcel 009.00, located 901 Beeler Loop Road, A1 Agricultural Forestry District, District 3. Tell us what you got.
Yes, what it is, my mother owns about 2 acres across the road and down, you can see the yard there. My sister owns just on the other side of that mobile home, an acre there. I'm fixing to have to come over, my mother's 87 years old, I'm having to move over here to take care of her. And I'm requesting this garage to put my camper, side-by-side, truck, lawnmower in. And that's why I'm requesting for the variance, because I will be living in a house that's on right here. That's where I will be living, and I'm wanting to build a shed here. Or the garage / shop.
There's not room to build your shed on your property?
It'd have to be right in the front yard.
How big a parcel is that, Jim?
1 acre.
1 acre.
Yeah, but we've not been allowing accessory structures without a primary structure. We usually give
Not
you a
unless
year to put your primary structure in.
Right.
But you're gonna be in a totally different parcel.
As far as living, yes, across the road.
Yeah, then we haven't been allowing that.
So that property is not worth anything then, basically.
Build a house on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you have to do that.
well, you have family that own connecting, you have adjoining family that own next to that parcel, correct?
At one time, the family owned all of this.
I mean, today.
Today, they own here, and then I own that.
Okay, nothing touches it right now.
Nothing touches
Okay,
it.
by family, okay.
And I know, I mean, we've owned that.
Who's your mother?
Since the 70s. I'm
Who-
sorry,
Who's your mother?
Joan Summers, Earl Summers was my stepfather, he passed.
And you don't have room to put
Everybody
that
who
shed
lived
up
around
there,
us, so.
you don't have room to put that shed up there where the house is.
No, the problem is, as you can see, this is her, back of her property line. She does not own any of that, and they won't sell that to us, because I tried that.
What's wrong right there where your fingers at?
What's right there?
The front yard,
Yeah.
Right there.
well, you could, but then you haven't, I personally don't wanna put it in the front yard, but.
Looks to me like that's the only option. My opinion.
Yeah, I do too, because we've not granted a variance for.
You'll have to have a variance to put it in the front yard too.
Yeah, you will, but we granted that some.
Yeah.
We can variance that. What do you think, Jim?
I think you're on the right path.
I'll make a motion to deny the request.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There you go. Let's see, D, variance request for a 15-foot front yard setback, applicant property owner, Yenny Sanchez, tax map 067, parcel 084.00, located at 612 Caldwell Road, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 4. Tell us what you got.
So I was told whenever we were trying to get the permit to.
Could you speak up a little bit, please?
Sorry. We're trying to get a double wide there in this property, and, we were told for the setbacks that the front part was gonna be, has to be 50, feet. But since the single wide that's there, it's a single wide and it's very, very thin. So the new one that we want to place there, is, much wider, and we can't move it backwards because, the downhill, and because the septic is already there in the place that's there.
So you're replacing the existing mobile home with a new one,
With the new one, yeah.
but it needs to be back further because it's bigger.
But the septic.
But you can't because of septic.
Yeah.
There is a sloping, there's a topographical issue on that property. It's gotta be 50 feet off the front property line. It's not actually R1, it's A1. If you look at this single wide that's on the property, as soon as you come out the back, it's a very hard rear slope.
Yeah.
But you've got enough room to put it in if she gets a variance?
If she gets a variance, that's what they measured. They measured for the home and even the porches, that they're gonna have to put in, and that's where they needed this 15-foot variance for. And on the imagery, if you look, it looks like the county right of way, there's a road through there. That's actually a private drive in that location.
I move to approve due to the hardship.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Anybody else? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. E, administrative review on appeal of zoning interpretation. Applicant Michael Packett, tax map 020, parcel 081.00, located 4300 Browder Hollow Road, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 2. What you got?
At the variance hearing, on September the 10th, Jim said he did some extensive review, and he changed his mind about that being a front yard. He decided to call it a side and rear yard. And when I went down to his office the next day, and my wife went down, I wanted to see what he, had about his extensive review. And he just drew a square and put a house on it, and put regular setbacks. I mean, I just don't understand what's going on there. And so, I went home and I looked up who my Loudon County Commissioner was for District 2. And I called Rosemary Quillen and told her about it. She said that she would talk to Jim about it. And she said that, Jim said he made a mistake, he got that one wrong, and that he apologized. I just don't believe he got it wrong at all. It felt like that my rear property line was the front lot line for that lot. You all agreed that was the front lot line for that lot. One member, I think it's this fellow here on the left, he said there's no way to contest it, that legally, that's the front lot line. And I just don't know why. Jim said in you before the variance hearing that, he had after some extensive review, that he's gonna change his mind about that. If that's true, there should never have been a variance hearing. He should have called, he should have notified my neighbor and me, hey, there's no need for a variance hearing now. I've got some new information and, there's no need for one. I just don't like the way that went down. I don't know what else to say, you know. It was all set, the board agreed that where the building settlement property would be the front yard. I don't know what changed his mind. I know at the variance hearing, when my neighbor got up and talked, the lady, she said that, I'll even read what she said. She said, they got threatened by me when they were going to add vegetables. And then she looked back at me like she was scared and she was really nervous.
Yeah.
I've never seen them try to plant anything down there on that lot. And the only time I ever talked to her was last year. I was over there at their house, and Jeff wanted me to ride down there with him to show him where the convenience center was. And she come out and met me, and that was the only time I ever met her, and she seemed like a nice person to me. And then after that, she said, I did something else. Then she looked back at me again, like she was scared and really nervous. Then she started talking real low. Well, you know, I watched that video several times, and I put earplugs in. I can't hear what she's saying. She's just talking real low. And the closed caption didn't pick it up. But I think Jim might have heard that. I'm not sure. But anyway, I mean, it just seemed like he just changed his mind on talking about a front yard at the variance hearing.
Jim?
Yes, sir. I'd like this board to make a decision for the minutes. You weren't here for the meeting, Mr. Shields wasn't. I presented this because there was some question on front yard and accessory building would send a notice of violation to the property owner based off complaints.
Not his now, somebody else's, right?
It's his neighbor.
Okay.
It's his neighbor here, and I probably as we discussed this,
Didn't
probably.
we have this
We
2
did.
months ago or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yes, we did, and probably during discussion, probably the way it was going, presented, probably even led some confusion among this board. But after that date, Phil and I have we reviewed the book, we reviewed it, so you have setbacks on a lot, then you have what's defined as front, side, and rear. So once the principal building is on the site, then from the principal building front to the right of way is the front. From the rear lot line to the rear portion of the principal building is the rear, and the areas in between are the sides. Our zoning resolution allows accessory buildings to set in the side or rear. This is a rear
Well, now,
property
his
line.
building is in that big part.
It's right here, yes, sir. And it is in the rear yard, and so they should have never had to come for a variance. That was my mistake. I tried to express that, explain that. I think what he's trying to do is appeal that I'm incorrect in that interpretation, so I'd like the board to determine whether that is indeed the rear yard at this point and uphold that decision or not.
Well, I'd like to read something here.
So hang on just a second. You're the owner of the blue parcel.
No.
He's on the
So he's in favor or contesting?
He's
building?
contesting it.
Okay.
He's the property owner here. There was a building placed here. And they come to the BZA. And we discussed whether that was a front or a side. And there
In
was
August.
confusion, but it was me that caused the confusion. And after reviewing the regs, it is very clear that is a rear yard.
But wasn't there a question about the size of the building violating the setbacks?
That came back last month with that.
See, that was 12 by 40.
The whole question was whether that was considered a front property line. But when you look at the definition of front yard, rear yard, side yard, it's very clear that it is a rear yard, and that building can be 5 feet off of that property line.
So our vote was what?
Your vote was originally that you stated, because you had commented, well, yeah, I understand, if that was bigger, then we would look at it as possibly a front yard, but the point is.
Because it faces the road.
Correct, but the principal building's already set. Once the principal building is on the lot, that defines yards.
We didn't take any action at the last
And we
meeting
didn't take action at the last meeting.
because there wasn't any need to, because Jim
Correct.
presented this as, there was no
You're
variance
just
needed.
wanting us to reaffirm.
I made a mistake, and now he is appealing what I told them at the last meeting.
The board decided after July 9th for determination of the front lot line, that where the building sit on the property would be the front yard. That's what the board decided.
That was based on his recommendation. He said that he made an error,
Well,
so
yeah.
he's changed that position.
Well, he felt awful strongly about it at the July 9th. I mean, if you go back and you watch that July 9th video, I mean, it was totally different there than it was at the variance hearing.
But they are legal now as far as lot
As far as
lines
I'm
and
concerned,
everything.
yes, sir. As far as the law is concerned, yes, sir, they are.
We don't need to take any action, do we?
I think I would prefer for y'all to reaffirm that that is the correct interpretation of the regulation.
I'll make a motion, I was the chair at that meeting, and I'll make a motion based on your recommendation that this accessory building meets the standard that needs to meet without any variance.
Yeah, I was at both meetings, and I'll second that.
I had a couple more questions if I could.
Let us vote, then you can ask your questions.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise.
And I want to apologize, I know you could not hear everything, and I tried to re-explain what Jim said to you at the last meeting, and I'm sorry, I did not meet that expectation.
Well, the only thing you told me was that, after some extensive review, that, there's no action needed, she's in the clear. I heard what you said. Jim said at the July 9th review that he wasn't interpreting the regulations correctly. What does that mean? I mean, that's what it says on the July 9th video. I don't understand. What does
I
that mean?
don't have recollection of that meeting.
The what?
I don't have recollection of the meeting, what was said in that meeting.
Well, I've watched it 2 or 3 times. I mean, that's what it says right here. That he wasn't interpreting the regulations correctly. I thought he meant to say that because of that unique strip of land. Because of the way that land lays. The board agreed the way that land lays, that would be a front yard all the way up through there. I don't know, I mean, he's the one that, sent a
I think
violation
it,
on my neighbor.
there's a, you know, like we can think a lot of things out loud, like that man that we denied just a minute ago has no idea why we denied him. I'm sure he's very frustrated at it, but we had to follow, you know, the rules, just like we discussed at our workshop, trying to figure out the rules to apply to everything. And some things, you know, make you shake your head, but, you know, we have to have rules to follow. And if this is how we apply it in this situation, that's what's fair. Even if
Well,
there's nothing, that's it.
Shouldn't you do a little investigation?
Why would we what do we need to investigate?
I mean, before you send out a violation that somebody's in violation.
I don't know. All I know is just what I'm hearing. I wasn't here last month, but Jim, according to you, Jim made a statement, and we voted one way or the other.
I understand that.
He said tonight he made a mistake. The building is within legal zoning regulations now. We voted to approve that, so I don't know what you want us to do. I mean, you want us to browbeat Jim? I mean, people make mistakes.
This may be the only lot in Loudon County in that shape.
I understand, yes, sir. I've never seen nothing.
Now, who drew this up? I said, who would draw this up?
How wide is that, Jim? That's
40 feet. He had it surveyed.
40 feet?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
About 350. Well, see, that's not a normal side yard, that's really what.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, and it goes to nowhere. You'd think it'd go to a road or something.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Well, I just don't understand how we made it to a variance hearing.
Well, we're sorry.
Yep.
Anybody else got anything? Hear a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. We got us a guinea pig rescue now.
I don't know what I'm gonna give you for Christmas.
That
There
blows
it is.
my mind. Got a question.
I know exactly where you can get it
Jim.
from.
Yeah, let me turn these
I'd give
spots
him
on.
4 or 5.
Okay.
So, who signs the